Welcome to a Thursday night surprise. Well, the stream's not a surprise, but the content will be. Now, I wish the countdown would have ended with some fireworks or something because we are pretty pumped up. We were just doing a little bit of chatting pre-stream about all the things to talk about tonight. Obviously, you've seen the thumbnail. You've been on Twitter at this point. You've seen we have the first trailer for the Star Wars Eclipse game. This completely caught me off guard. You know, if you looked at this thumbnail, this video before, I had no idea this was coming out. I was scrambling the last 30 minutes to prep everything here. Before I introduce our guest, I want to let everyone know I have not watched this trailer yet. So I am going in totally blind. I'll let the other guys tell you if they've seen it yet. Let's go around the triangle. Star Wars Complete. Welcome. Happy Thursday. How are you doing this week? Have you seen the trailer? Let us know.
I am ecstatic this week because for one thing, it's my weekend and we got this new trailer. I have not seen it yet. This is my first reaction that I've done in a while. So I am so excited to be here right now.
All right. I have to be the party pooper. I'm sorry, guys. I let everybody down just a little bit because I did see the trailer. I'm not going to say anything, of course, zero reaction. I'm just going to play along, test my acting abilities, and see if I can do just. No, on a serious note, I think there'll be a lot of things to catch, right? Because we'll analyze it as we go along. I think there's a lot in store for us. It will be fun to watch the second time.
So we're going to give folks a couple seconds to come in. I see a lot of comments. Welcome, everyone. Before we hop in, I do want to kind of preview the night's show, the activities, if you're watching this recorded, what you can expect. As always, so much to talk about this week. A lot in the High Republic. Funny enough, if you guys watched the stream last week, you know I had my eye on this High Republic hat, which I immediately bought after that stream, and it came right in time for tonight's one. So full circle there. But we're going to start off, obviously, with this trailer. Again, I have not seen it yet. We're going to watch it through silently, you know, not pausing. We're just going to watch it, a good, clean, pure run through. Give us our reactions. We'll then pause and go back through, give you guys our thoughts after we've seen it. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the Acolyte, because another big High Republic era show with news this week, and some rumors around that as well. And then we're going to probably talk about the Star Wars Hotel a little bit like we did last week, give you guys some more thoughts on what happened there. And as always, we're going to jump in with anything that strikes us, anything that sticks out. And I'm just pumped. This is totally unexpected. This is kind of the funnest video to make, where we're all just completely caught off guard here. So I don't know, anything you guys want to add before we get into this?
Yeah, I think it's the reason that this whole, trailer reactions has become so exciting over the last couple of years, right? It's quite a recent phenomenon. I'm going to be excited to watch you guys, actually. This will be fun for me. I'm like, okay, so I know what's behind the screen. You don't. So it'll be an interesting experiment.
We were talking, and we have it pulled up here. You know, we were talking about this before we went started. You love when a new trailer comes out, showing it to your friends. And that's really what a trailer reaction is. It's seeing something you're excited about and wanting to see what your friends think, what your family thinks, etc. And that's how I look at it. Let me say one thing about this, what I know about this. Let me give you guys what I know about it before seeing the trailer. I know it was rumored to be set in the High Republic era. That seems to be confirmed from what I saw in the announcement, in the Twitter fiasco going on there. I also know this company has made some really story-driven games. Detroit Become Human and Heavy Rain are the two I have played. I know they've made several others. Complete, what are the games you've played? Ben, tell me, have you guys played their games before? What did you think?
Become Human. I've played Detroit Become Human. I've played Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. All fantastic stories. Really cool mechanics, too. That was when PlayStation was trying to do a lot of innovative stuff. So it was like, press this button and turn your controller and all that. So I wonder if they're going to try to implement some of that as well.
That's an excellent point. I think this would be an excellent opportunity. I almost wish for or imagine Quantic Dream, the company studio behind it, working in collaboration with other experts in, let's say, open world studios, game developers, or somebody who knows flight games, and bring it all together. Plus that very intricate conversational, almost like you're watching a movie scene that you're manipulating. That would be a perfect opportunity. I hope they don't miss it.
Okay, let me ask you guys, do you want to do side-by-side, or do you guys want to be at the bottom? Side-by-side?
Yeah, side-by-side. That way we're not cutting anything off of the bottom there.
Yeah. All right, I don't want to wait any longer because there's probably going to be so much to talk about. I got the volume on full blast. I'm going to shut my mouth and we are going to watch through the Star Wars Eclipse official cinematic trailer. Let's get
I'm
going.
watching you guys.
Wow.
That looks incredible. Okay.
CGI quality looks really good.
I thought it was a real person. Ooh. Wow.
Wow. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Wait, is that it?
I believe so.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna say it right off the bat, and like, I don't want to be that guy, but I got some Major Dune vibes watching that trailer. Okay, I don't, you know what I mean? Because a lot of the imagery and the music really just hit me, kind of like the Dune movie we just watched. But wow, that was actually not at all what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Like at all. Like way more. Like, okay, so that was way more like epic. It's just not what I expected from a Star Wars trailer. I don't think I've ever seen a Star Wars trailer like that. You know, I'm even thinking back to the Old Republic cinematics that would have typically some sort of voiceover or some sort of clear protagonist and antagonist fighting. You know, I think of like the Deceived one, right? Where he's doing the voiceover, you know, you've been deceived, right? And others, you know, the Battle in the Forest, for example, where you have, I think it's Malik or no, it's not, but whoever it is.
Malgus.
Thank you. Fighting, you know, getting grenaded in the face. This was like all music and emotion and imagery, right? And I've never seen that in a Star Wars announcement, or not, it doesn't come immediately to my mind. That felt totally unique in like the best way. That's just my the first thing I'm going to say. Now, complete. Let's get your thoughts because you hadn't seen it yet. What are your thoughts? What did you think?
I don't even know where to start. You know, we know that this is vaguely High Republic, but then I saw Lucrate haulers.
Yeah.
And now I don't even know what era I'm in. I'm just so like lost.
This seems way and I'm with you. It almost seems to me like this must be later in the High Republic, I'm guessing. Just based on some of the ship design we saw.
With other news that came out that we'll cover later, I think so.
Okay. All right, Ben, you've seen it twice now. What are your thoughts? Give it to me. What was your first impression when you watched it? What has got you excited? Where are you at?
First of all, I was really paying attention to both of you, knowing that both of you guys are huge admirers of, the prequel era films, where there's a couple of shots which unites this in a way that I have not seen before. And I agree with you totally. I think whoever produced this trailer, just like the producers of the last Jedi trailer, episode 8, they have to be like shouted out because it's magnificent in a way that this particular trailer, honestly, is unlike any Star Wars trailer I've ever seen. And let me explain why. It accomplishes something that we generally don't get. If it's High Republic, if it's the Old Republic video game trailers, they're all based on action, right? And visceral, the Jedi versus Sith action, very familiar, iconic imagery. Here, I'm getting Avatar vibes, right? The James Cameron Avatar vibes, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the most exotic culture-based imagery, like you said, imagery-based trailer that feels it splices in prequel era stuff, especially those, the droid ships, and then you see Yoda in the council, but so organically and well together. Honestly, I think I'm the most excited about the High Republic and now about this video game because, like never before, it's saying we want to be Star Wars, but we want to be different, right? This what this trailer looks like. It feels familiar, and at the same time, it feels so exotic with that music, with that drumming. I'm like, wait, is this Star Wars? Yeah, it is Star Wars. You know what I mean? You get this like beautifully conflicted first take on it.
Exotic's a great word. Culture. I love how you said that. It does have, great call out on the Avatar comparison. That is, it does have that kind of I don't know, this intrigue just visually. Like I'm pulled in just visually because there's no lines here outside of Yoda. There's really nothing that sticks out to me as iconic, and I'm letting this play as we talk, and we'll obviously deep dive. But I want something kind of reflecting. It seems to me to have such from what I see here, I'm led to believe it's going to be kind of a deep, spiritual kind of story with epic kind of stakes and a real focus on kind of the different look at Star Wars. I mean, that's all I can think from this first cinematic trailer. I think it's just really what a good teaser in the sense that I'm completely intrigued and they've basically told me nothing, right? Nothing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Now, let me ask you something, Complete. If I'm not mistaken, you've played and finished Jedi Fallen Order, right?
Yes.
So, 2 questions for you. Does it feel like that game, in a sense, like, when Cal Kestis, he goes to different planets, of course, he wants to find the secrets of the ancient Zafar people. Does this game, this trailer, give you that epic Odyssey feel? Like we're going to go like multi-planet sort of adventure, and those drumming playing aliens, are they Zafar people? Like I'm looking at their nostrils, right? Obviously they had these very like interesting head garments that they wear, and the sculptures that you see in those century representations of themselves are quite different. But I'm looking at this here like, hold on a second, is this Zafar people? Are they bringing the lore from the Jedi Fallen Order into this? That's my question.
All right, so there was a lot there. For the first part of that question about multi-planet, absolutely. We're seeing so many different planets. I don't know how big the game will be. I'm going to hope it's massive. I definitely could see us going to multiple planets and meeting multiple different types of races. As far as the Zepho, quite possibly, because I was trying to figure out what this could be. When you turned around, I was like, I see, it looks like a conglomeration of the Nogri and even a little bit of the Jedi Order.
I'm sorry, we missed you for a second. You froze.
A cross between the Nogri and the villains from the New Jedi Order.
Yeah,
that I'm blanking on the name right now for some reason.
You're talking about the Yuzong Vong?
Yes, thank you. The Yuzong Vong.
Yep.
Interesting.
And I wonder if it could be something from like the unknown regions.
Well, so I will tell you guys, there is a website. I was looking at this on the side. There's a website they've just launched for the game. We'll pull up and see what kind of details we can get out. Maybe they'll give us some hints.
Ooh, I want to see that.
Yeah, because I want to know why taiko drums are now canon in Star Wars.
So let's start at the end. Let's start at the end because this is where we paused it to get a look at these creatures. Okay. The immediate easy thought here is there's some sort of antagonist being born here, literally out of the Dune-esque
Right.
black goo, right? I mean, how can you not think Dune here? We got some black goo going
This
on.
is some Urukai stuff.
So, I mean, this to me could be one of, first of all, man, guys, this looks absolutely gorgeous. Like, I just got to say, for a cinematic, this was really well done. I want to give them the credit. I also, before we start deep diving here too much, just want to reiterate how exciting this is, right? How cool this is that we're in a world where we're getting remasters of the old Republic game that everyone has loved and people like me haven't played yet. That is so exciting. And then we're also getting AAA large studio who make story driven, decision based games that have so much character development and imagine the stories you can tell. And we're getting that in this new era that's just been introduced. And this is why I keep beating the drum that Star Wars is in such a great place right now, not because everything they make is the best ever, right? I understand that the quality is not always where folks want it, but these kind of opportunities did not exist 15 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And to see a cinematic like this that looks so good, so engaging with such different vibes. I mean, this is just so exciting. So I want to get that out of the way. I am so hyped for this. And just looking at the game website on the side here, it's got me completely jacked up. So sorry to take us off course here. Are we seeing the birth of a new villain type? Is this something, or is this just a bait and switch? They're just showing you another alien culture in the world, and this is kind of their ritual process. Is that what we're seeing here?
It almost feels like, I don't know why, the way that obviously the montage is cut together, it's one of their kind. And they're playing the drums, they're obviously participating in some sort of ritual, and then this thing comes. Obviously, when you look artistically at the darker form, and it's this ominous kind of like profile, perhaps. And this is another thing that I wanted to bring, a little bit unrelated to the creature itself. I love the twilight. I love the connection, almost like I felt like I'm sitting on top of an Aztec pyramid and observing, this twilight, and it's almost like a sacrifices to be made. So it's a reference to the real world culture that we have, plus this. But in terms of this alien, I think it could swing both ways. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a villain.
Here's what it is. You guys ready? Wait, it just hit me complete. This is the opening of the game. This is your create your own character. You come out of the black goo, and then you have to pick all your features. You got to pick your gender and everything. Sorry, go ahead, complete.
I was just gonna say, I wonder if, I mean, this could potentially be the new villain of some sort, just based on how we've never seen them before. So obviously they're going to have some large role. And I'm wondering if this scene here isn't necessarily like a summoning of something. I'm wondering if the drumming and all that is more like Timeline said, that it's a ritual of some sort. And this is kind of like a rite of passage, or like an initiation of another one of those species of some sort, maybe.
I am.
There's a lot going on.
I am so hyped. I just want to like this to me is so cool. Like this is about as cool as I could have imagined.
Now, guys, can I add something very quickly?
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a moment to be like optimistically cautious and like temper your expectations, because I really, really hope they don't pull a fast one on us, and give us this very epic trailer, but then the game comes out to be once again this very linear kind of like almost on the threads kind of like storyline, which Quantic Dreams is known for. They're very linear, very corridor like games, which are focused around these like action scenes.
Well, however, as a counterpoint, in those games, I do love the element of choice. If they incorporate one of my favorite game mechanics that has really picked up popularity in a number of different games, is the kind of scenario based choose what your character does, like you're living the movie. And in Star Wars, so did you guys play, I believe it's Into the Dark, or it was the horror game on PlayStation, where you basically played like you were in a horror movie and you could control what the characters did, and the goal was like how many can you save. But what was so fun about it,
Until Dawn.
Thank you.
Yeah
I got a bunch of my friends together and we literally played it, like put in like a 6-7 hour 8-hour playthrough, like we were in a horror movie, and we would just do we would do the first thing we would think we would do if we were in that. And that was so exciting. And that game was decent. If this has a similar mechanic, like you're playing your own Star Wars show or movie, that could be something really incredible. You know, I mean, it really could, if you have some sort of kind of choice base in your relationships with various characters or things you do, it could be very rewarding, you know, even if it is maybe more linear and less freeform.
And even then, if it's just linear, but there's enough story behind it and enough choices, it just leads for more playability or replayability rather.
But
So
you know, also knowing the gaming industry, how sometimes you're smacked in the face with the most epic CGI trailer.
I do.
Like at the same time, you have to like, oh, okay, let's see more. Let's see what this game is all about.
Do you guys remember this is gonna be such a random call out, but there was this game, I think it was called Dead Island or Zombie Island or something. And it was during the zombie game craze of earlier years. The first trailer was like this emotional piano, and it was all played in reverse. Where like
I remember that.
Yeah, and it was like it broke the internet. Everyone loved this trailer. It had this really beautiful. The game was terrible, but the trailer was so good. So we enjoy it today. Let's answer this question from GFF before we start from the top and walk through. He says, I don't know if it's a question as much as it's a statement here. He said, I wonder if the Luminous writers were involved in any aspect of the story to line up with the future High Republic novels or shows. And that is a great question, because they basically hand selected a number of writers to kick this era off. So will they be involved in future projects? We have a rumor about that in the Acolyte we'll talk about later. But I assume the writers were aware this game was happening. Now, were they consulted or were they told, hey, this game is happening? We don't really care what you have to say. That's definitely, I'm sure we'll find out. The reason I tend to think maybe they don't know or haven't known. And again, guys, like I'm here with you live. I'm not browsing Twitter. I haven't seen any of the writers tweet anything about this. And maybe they have now. They've been like, hey, by the way, this is coming out. Get hyped. Right. So that leads me to believe maybe they didn't have a huge role, or maybe they had more of a consulting role. But what do you guys think?
I mean, I think it's got to be something like that, because, with the High Republic being as big as it was, if they're going to be adding all these other things, like if the Acolyte is going to be really tied into it, since it is supposed to mark the end of the High Republic, I imagine they have some say in how things are going to go, considering they are going to write the foundation of what the story is going to consist of. So it's got to be to a point where you can't have this because that hasn't happened yet. But, moving forward, we will be adding more X, Y, and Z.
I mean, there has to be a kind of like custodian similar to Pablo Hidalgo, right? With the Star Wars Legends, what commonly happened when you opened up a new book and, the author is giving credit to, Del Rey and to Lucasfilm, and he's praising other authors who helped him with a certain detail or timeline. That is also true with other components of like video game aspects of comic books. When I recently interviewed Greg Hildebrandt, right, the great painter, the master who contributed to Star Wars, he also told me that when they were developing the Shadows of the Empire campaign, which was like a video game, a comic book, a audio drama, a novel, he said, we kind of like interacted with one another. It was a kind of a person behind the kind of driving the whole project. And they kind of had back and forth to get a general idea where we're heading together. I imagine, because somebody has to write this game, right? There has to be a writer on it. And why not hire somebody who is already close to the project and kind of knows all the strings and how it all connects together?
It's a great call out. I want to call out Jay Charge's, question here about, Claudia Gray has been teasing something big she's been working on. More on that story later. Minor spoiler. We have some early rumors that it's tied to the Acolyte, and and her work there might be tied in. So without further ado, let's just go through this and take some things away. Feel free to, I'm going to keep it on mute just so we can kind of talk over it and not have this weird competing music here. We've talked a lot about these drummers to start off. I do want to compliment again the quality here. I literally thought this was a live person at first. I thought like that.
I did too. Yeah.
I'm going to say a duh moment here, but such focus on an eclipse. Throughout the trailer, we keep cutting to these shots of an eclipse. What does that mean in Star Wars lore, the established lore that comes to mind? For me, I'm drawing straight blanks. But it seems that the game has some sort of, the easy thought, the easy thing to pick up for me is like, okay, we're getting shots of some eclipse as some alien species is performing some dark side looking ritual. Is there something like at the moment of the eclipse, they're summoning their evil bad guy? Is that what they're going for? I don't know, but that's kind of what the trailer kind of looks like to me. It's like, oh, the eclipse, it's got this, what I assume is some sort of oracle looking at the sun, and as it covers her eyes, right? That's the whole vibes I'm getting. they keep using the imagery of the eclipse and obviously the name of the game. So I don't know. What do you, I mean? Am I crazy there? Is that what you guys took from it, or did you go somewhere totally different?
I mean,
I'm gonna go totally south. I'm curious what Complete has to say, because him and we kind of like read up a little bit more than you have, High, with the Legends books. I have a connection there, but please go ahead.
I mean, the Fire Nation is at its weakest during a solar eclipse.
You're right.
If there's a reference that Timeline is going to make, I may not be that aware of it. Clearly, it's I'm pretty sure it's kind of like spoon fed to us with like, yes, because of this eclipse, bad things are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel.
That's roughly all I've got right now. So if Timeline wants to fill us in with his Legends knowledge, please do so.
Yeah, right. I'm just gonna flex my Legends thing. No. I'm a big fan of early Bantam era books, which were written primarily in the mid and late '90s. And one of them is by one of my favorite author, Barbara Hambly. She wrote The Planet of Twilight. If you Google the cover to that book, which is actually painted by legendary Drew Struzan, it's even in tone and color, it's very similar to that shot of the eclipse. And in there, those several books with Luke and his exploits into finding, the ancient Jedi wisdom and lore, they come across this almost cult-like entity and planet, and these worshippers of the dark side, which leads in really, really like some left field fantasy element, which we have not seen in Star Wars before.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this here. Once again, I think it's the connection between the real world traditions, right, of the Aztecs, looking at the Twilights and sacrificial rites, plus that novel from early Legends, plus this imagery here. In my mind, it just fires off all of these associations. And I'm thinking, what if we're getting another cult-like entity or culture who are worshippers of the dark side, but are not necessarily Sith, like we saw in Visions, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Or even kind of what you saw with what you kind of see with the Night Sisters.
The Dathomir witches.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, that's the first vibe. I'm going to continue to compliment the quality of the
compliment the logo too, like the
no, it's not as good as I'm just saying, like, these shots to me are really good, and it does not mean anything about the end product, but to me it's just so exciting to see if the cinematics of the game can match the quality here. It could be like another Star Wars show for us, another medium for Star Wars storytelling. And I just am really impressed by what we've seen so far. Just some really gorgeous shots. And again, trailers, I understand, mean nothing, but it was really well executed.
Is
and
this
so
Yavin 4?
I have no idea where this is.
That's what it looks like.
3 planets.
Well, you see this big red one that looks like Jupiter, gas giants, is Yavin. And either this one up front or the one behind it would be Yavin 4. That's just a thought. And the ship that we got going here, the fact that you got smoke coming out of it, I instantly was like, oh, that's totally Nile, but it's obviously falling apart. So I don't know what it could be. My first thought was also like it's reminiscent of the shuttle that the Knights of Ren had. Yeah. Like every time it started up, there was just smoke billowing out of the back of it.
This once again, it's the trailer, CGI trailer, is never to take the game at its face value, but just get excited and like show you what the potential of this game is. But this shot is telling me like, hey Ben, go explore. Go to different planets, meet all these different alien species. The game is communicating to me, I'm open world, I'm multi-planet, right? Because the creators of the Mass Effect, BioWare, when they were working with the latest Mass Effect game, Andromeda, right? The reason that it didn't come out the way people wanted it to is because previously they experimented with this new engine, which created planets on the fly. And there were many of them, but that didn't sail because now we're working, potentially this is built on Unreal Engine 5, right? The latest one, which now gives us that technological advantage to create that kind of experience. And that's the shot. I'm like, yeah, I'm sold.
Agree with you 100%. The cinematic trailers don't necessarily tell us a lot about core gameplay. They entice us, but we can make some inferences. For example, the ship crashing into this planet, maybe that tells you something about your character. Are you on the run? Or are you under attack? Maybe we can look at it for things like that. To your point about exploring, the next shot is kind of a gorgeous cityscape. And this to me has major prequel era High Republic vibes. Like I think
straight up.
Yeah. I mean, it really does. fit to me. The kind of visuals, you can even see the guard right here, which might be kind of missed in this blue gear. Really enjoy what we're seeing as far as, the cityscapes at this point.
I really think this is Naboo. Like, see, this shot here looks so real.
I thought it was real, actually.
I thought this was real.
Yeah. I thought, hold on a second, is that live footage spliced into the game?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Three-eyed little parrot monkeys? They are. They got 3 little eyes, little parrot monkey
They're like
thing.
Furbies.
Oh, they are like Furbies. Oh, that's awesome. I actually, and you guys have seen this, where it's a trend I've seen a lot over the last couple of years. Well, their cinematic trailer will be like actors or actresses, and I thought that's what this was with the drum. I thought it was going to be kind of like, but no. So again, this does not indicate final quality of game.
Yeah.
But it does tell me whoever, like, we'll talk about the Star Wars Hotel later. Whoever cut this trailer should have been the guy they hired to do the trailer for the Star Wars Hotel, because this guy gets it. This guy or girl gets it.
CGI that hotel thing.
Admiral Raddus.
We've got, man, again, some of these people in the background, like they do just look like extras in like a movie here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Man.
Guardian of the Wills.
That's yeah.
Right, Donnie Yen type of figure sitting in there.
This is giving like big Jedi vibes.
Yeah.
Especially because we've got, I think it's right after this scene, there's another character.
It's Cad Bane. No.
Cad Bane.
He's been here the whole time.
Cad Bane Sr.
I do.
You never know.
I start to wonder from shots like this if there's any sort of, and again, cinematic, is there any sort of like different roles? And what I mean by that is like, is there ways your characters will be kind of like more of a bounty hunter type or more of a Jedi type? Can you be kind of scavenging? This looks like a shifty character here looking around. So can you go undercover, spy on people, get information, etc.? Is that going to be a mechanic in the game? No idea. I'm just, when you see kind of the sketchy underworld scenes, is that going to play into our character at all?
Right.
We see him looking nefarious. More shots of the drums. Gorgeous shot here. This is
incredible.
Super Star Wars. This is super Star Wars right here.
Oh yeah.
That shot is like,
that's up there with the twin sun set that we see in Attack of the Clones when he's driving the speeder.
Super
that's a beautiful
shot there.
Okay.
The shot.
So this one's interesting, and I find this so interesting. In my Twitter feed, I saw some people like, "Oh, new Star Wars game, new era. It's got Yoda in it." And what I find so funny about that is like when Yoda has been used in the High Republic books and stuff, people are like, "Oh wow, look at that! They had to use Yoda for some sort of crutch and I'm like, but then people are excited when they see him in the cinematic. It's kind
of like, do people not understand how timelines work?
Yeah, anyway.
It's not hard. I love this shot though because this looks
prequel era.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, and very reminiscent of Anakin looking out the window in Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, same 100%. Lighting and everything.
Yeah, it's 100%. The what is that song called?
Padme's Ruminations.
Yeah, thank you, Ruminations.
What a song.
Yeah, that's what it does look like.
For this shot, I have to kind of, in a way, distance myself and my bias in order to fully appreciate the shot, because once again, I think it is so important to bring all eras of Star Wars together and say, look, you grew up with prequels. Do you remember that first scene where young Anakin? And for some people, it's so iconic. It's almost like a religious experience, right? Revisiting familiar places, revisiting your familiar earliest childhood memories with growing up with these films. And for me, Yoda will always and forever remain this rugged little funny goblin creature who lives in the swamp. That's my era. I don't want to take anything against anyone else.
Absolutely.
But when I saw this, I fully embraced it. I got goosebumps. I'm like, oh man, what a lovely experience for these designers of this trailer to put it all together so effectively and say, look, we're giving you old, we're giving you new, we're bringing it all together. And when I saw this, I'm like, oh man, I feel like 1999 again.
And in some ways, like, this is also a very heartbreaking shot because, like, I'm seeing this, I'm like, wow, this is incredible. But at the same time, I see Yoda there, and the rest of the council seats are just empty, and it just makes me think like we've met all these characters in the High Republic that by the time this game comes out probably aren't around anymore.
Yeah, it's very possible.
That's another thing that's just like right there in the feels. I love this.
We've seen them before, right? They show up in a comic book or somewhere. I've seen them before.
I was thinking
from Jeddah.
There you go.
Same ones?
Yep.
Okay, so they are in Jedi. I could have sworn I've seen them in one of the short miniseries, either 4 or 5 issues, and these dudes are standing in there. I'm trying to remember.
It's quite possible. I haven't read a lot of the new comics, so I don't know
Yeah.
if they've been in anything else, but I imagine they've been used somewhere else before. That's just like I saw that, and that's why I was like, this gives Jedha vibes because it's such close quarters and all of these different races all over the place. It's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
This next shot here to me screams, well, obviously kind of prequel era as well. I looked at this shot as them trying to tell you like it's before the prequels. Like that's what this shot was for me. You know, it sounds silly, but you kind of look. It looks like your first model C-3PO back in Phantom Menace, right? That's kind of what this looks like. But
and also it's so different that it just shows it's still early. You know, like this is a very different protocol droid.
Exactly.
I almost felt like it's a back in the future moment where it's like, hold on a second, is that C-3PO when Anakin was building them? And then I had to stop myself and say, no,
it does look like that, right?
Right, and this is earlier. This is before because he does look like a C-3PO prototype.
He does, and he could be.
Man, he looks so lifelike. It's
He
like
does.
the CG is just
Really
insane
cool.
on that.
More of the so some of the money shots here. So more of the sun theming, obviously, a lot of that. We have what I'm going to assume is Jedi training.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to read too much into this again. It's a cinematic trying to entice you. But it looks like we have two, Jedis training out in their temple.
A very Mortal Kombat shot. Remember that tower battle?
Yeah.
Looks like a stage.
Yep. So really good shot. Feels very Star Wars. This shot screams sequel era to me. It reminds me of Force Awakens.
Maz Kanata's castle.
Yeah, it's absolutely. That's exactly what it reminds me of. But that might be kind of a lazy comparison there. But it does.
I mean, I kind of get that because it looks kind of like thrown together, and you kind of got like the
Yep.
flags waving off at the bottom there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I was thinking the Jedi Fallen Order for some reason. When you go to, where do you go? Some parts of Dathomir, they have like jungle there.
Yeah.
When you go to Kashyyyk, I think in Kashyyyk there's one area with a waterfall and you have like access. You look at the open sky. It sort of looks like that a little bit.
Yeah, these drums were built into stone.
Yeah, it's weird because it looks like they were like hammered into it because you can see it looks like it's like pushed out around it.
Let's keep going here as we go through. This shot is great.
Yeah.
This is a great shot. Let me just watch it. Ooh, I love me that shot. That is a great shot. I really enjoy whatever sort of industrial snow look this has got going on. The ship design here is very interesting to me.
Yeah, it looks like a mix of the Jedi fighters in the High Republic.
Vectors?
The Vectors. I'm blanking on everything tonight.
Okay, sorry.
Jedi Vectors and the TIE Fighter variant model that we got from the Sith in the Old Republic deal or MMO. Because it's just the way the wing shape is. So I'm wondering if this is like the new villains we've seen, or I guess this new species we just saw.
So I'm gonna make a bold prediction.
All right, hit me with it.
Based on an impulse thought I'm having right now. I think this is the High Republic early. I think this is earlier in the books.
So 300+ years before.
I think this is earlier, and I'll tell you why.
All
because
right.
I don't think they have the time. Because remember, the High Republic era is only a couple hundred years before Phantom Menace. We're leading into the Acolyte. All the vibes I'm getting from this don't feel like it's taking place in between the story and Phantom Menace per se. It looks to me like this is almost like between Old Republic and High Republic, because that gives them more of a playground.
That's a good point.
They're not beholden to anything if they go earlier, and in fact they can kind of they can explore things with the Sith even so if they wanted to, which I'm sure they want to because it's Star Wars and people of the Sith. It seems to me if they do at the end of the High Republic era, they have a much smaller window to fit their game, right? Because you're talking maybe 50 to 100 year, and these ship designs to me are so radically different than what we've seen in the Vectors or what we've seen in the prequel era that I tend to believe, based on the cinematic trailer, that could mean literally nothing, that this is like after the Old Republic, but before the books and comics we are reading right now in the High Republic. Just my first thought. We'll see as we go on, but.
You know what's funny? When you mentioned the Old Republic several times, and you and I, we have talked about it when in regards to High Republic, that it already acknowledges what came before, and it references the Sith War, right, from the Old Republic. Remember, there's a scene where they go, I think, was it the Revan novel or the novel after that? They go to this frost planet.
Yeah, it's Revan.
And they go to this tower, right? Do you guys remember? I'm kind of blanking. I've
So
read
it's
it
Revan.
years.
I think it's where he put Mandalore's mask.
Yes,
was in that. Yeah, that's Revan.
So when I was looking at this imagery, I'm like, this looks like a post Old Republic sort of facility and a key structure. Like, is it a fortress? Is it something? It's not just like hanging in there. It's like, it's covered in this mist.
And these look like fighter ships coming in.
Yeah. It definitely like a point of interest.
See, I'm getting the complete different end. I saw the no. So I saw the design and the colors that we got on it. Like we got a lot of gold and the black there. My first thought was like Crimson Dawn. I know that's like kind of a stretch, but there's a little more in the trailer that leads me to think it could be.
I mean, again, for all we know, they're just showing out cool concept art. They're like, hey, remember that?
For sure. Yeah,
remember that cool snow planet we did in our mock? He'll just throw it on there.
Yeah, this is a Starkiller base surprise.
To me, it has, and something about the purple lights of the ships. Just I don't know what it just made me think. Like, okay, after like this is between Old Republic and High Republic, which would be a really cool era to kind of see. I think as well. So we'll keep it playing here. Okay, so we're in the prequels right now. No, but kind of. In a second, we do get very prequel-y here in a second. In these upcoming shots. Here, I think it might be the next shot. Okay, this right here. Okay, first of all, we have. If you guys don't know, if you're new to the channel, I adore yellow, gold, whatever you officially want to call the color lightsaber. I think it is it's underused. It's so cool. I love it. Absolutely love it. With kind of the curved hilt. Dooku style here, but also notice for our blue lightsaber here, we have what seems to be, and you only see it for a split second, like a pronged look. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
It looks pronged here, which fits a lot of the lightsaber design we've seen in the High Republic. Ty York's, for example, being very pronged.
That's a good catch,
I think there's a number of Jedi who do have sort of a curved blade. They're very free form with High Republic lightsaber design. But who they're fighting here, I have no idea. I think it's purposely hard to tell what we're seeing here. It's some sort of snow planet. Now, remember in the shot we saw just a couple frames ago, we see a snow planet industrial style, what looks like fighters coming in, and then we see a fight on a snow planet here. So maybe we do some sort of snow planet battle here.
It looks like you can roughly see hardly anything, but I think the thing about it is that they obviously look almost tribal in a way.
They
and
do. I agree.
I wonder if this is Ordo Plutonia, which was a arc in the Clone Wars. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that, but it was a snow planet that they were stuck on, and the race that was there had like been there and had not.
Yes.
They hadn't like technology hadn't advanced at all. They were still sticks with rocks.
And there was the arrogant guy who wanted to rule the planet.
The guy was like, "It's in."
I'm blanking on his name, but
Question, guys.
Yes.
When I look at this shot, it's almost like once again the directors, the cinematography speaking to us directly, the Old Republic fans. It's like, do you remember Malak and Revan? Boom and boom. It's just like aesthetically such an Old Republic shot. I'm like, it's clearly not Malak and Revan, but I'm looking at this, and you constantly sparks your mind. It's like, hey, are we going to get another sort of kind of like symbiotic relationship or kind of friendship, or two friends that are destined to like have a rift and fall apart with one another? Like a similar vibe to that. What do you think?
It does have Old Republic vibes heavily to me. The trailer, just the kind of theming to it. But this shot does look very Old Republic cinematic.
And I agree with that too. And even then, like you've got that curved lightsaber hilt giving it throwbacks to Bane.
It's such a good color for the lightsaber, guys.
It really is,
love it. Especially in the snow. I just love like the warm glow, kind of like the fire in the. Okay. Anyway, I think it's a great shot, a great establishing shot. We see what looks like, and I think we had it called out. This is very Avar Kriss-esque, not as blonde, but the headdress. The headdress to me looks like stuff we've seen her wear on covers and in comics. So kind of a cool, but hey, Fallen Star vibes here. We got some destruction going on in the background. Very nice touch. I do see here as well. I will call this comment out. I hope Acolyte will be similar to this. I agree. I mean, if it strikes this kind of dark what feels like a weighty tone from what we've seen, I'd be very excited.
I'll call it now that this character is to Avar Chris as Satil Shan is to Bastila Shan.
Mm.
Okay. All right. This to me might be the most interesting shot in the trailer. Okay. This is the least Star Wars looking piece of this trailer to me. And I don't know if I'm off base there. You guys can, but I'm just going first impression. This to me looks more other fantasy. Like I use Dune, but I don't even think Dune might be the right example. It's almost
Destiny.
like Warhammer.
Destiny.
Oh, Destiny. Yeah, Destiny's not a bad one either.
You said Warhammer, man.
Yeah, I did. Because think about if you look at the full shot, it looks like, you know, you got your Warhammer minis with your weird tank thing and your
tyrants. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I looked at this and I was like, yo, this looks like Warhammer. And you got your bomber. It's like you got bombers coming over the top. This is a weird shot. This race, and I will try to get a good pause here. I can't tell if those are like expressionless masks or if they literally just have no expression.
I'm going to say they don't have an expression. And
I agree.
I looked at this and instantly my first thought was like, because of the design, my first thought was Crimson Dawn. And that's why I had mentioned that earlier, because I was like, it looks very much like the security that Dryden Voss had. But at the same time, it also gives off Sith Eternal vibes.
Wild. And we got
the helmets don't remind you of the Inquisitors?
That's not a bad call.
Maybe a little.
Hey, look at this comment right here. It looks like Dune. That's exactly what I said at the beginning. I was like, it looks like Dune. Like this to me reminds me of some of the opening shots when they're talking about Arrakis and they're showing the Harkonnens kind of reign, and it's what it looks like to me. You know.
This to me is one single most interesting scenes I've seen. Again, it's since, I don't want to say how long ago. This is absolutely phenomenal, because one thing that I always enjoyed looking forward to is how can you express technological terror, right? And obviously Star Wars has always been referencing and talking about war that we have in the real world. How do you show that terror without another Death Star, without another huge super weapon? When you look here, it almost is like a faceless army of zealots, and you have these domes that are just following them. You know, right? The Star Wars, the Dark Empire comic, where we see the resurrection of Emperor Palpatine in the Legend series, right? They have these world devastators. They're not huge machines in comparison to the Death Star, but when you see what they're capable of doing on land, it's actually quite scary. And we'll look at here in this particular shot here with these faceless warriors, which for some reason I thought of like precursors to the Inquisitor program, and these huge domes, which I think it's very important in terms of shape and design for us, the audience, not to fully understand what are they. Tanks? They could be a new sound wave weapon. They could be whatever, like that cannon in the Last Jedi. It could be a number of things. Because it's unrecognizable, makes it so interesting.
Let me say something real quick. First of all, make sure you guys like and subscribe to these guys' channels. Links down below. Make sure you like this video as well. I want to give a call out here to Stickman, because he has found something that totally went by me. So notice the symbol on their chest, and I noticed it, you know, immediately, the symbol. But what I did not connect, if we take a step back and let's do so, the symbol is right here on the snow planet.
Ah,
interesting. So this seems to be, so I totally missed it, guys. This seems to be some sort of connection to what looks like almost an evil industrial empire. It gives like mega, again, I keep saying Warhammer or Dune, but it totally does.
It's so Warhammer.
It is. And look at this, what seems to be like the mothership up here is just ginormous up in the sky.
Absolutely.
And you're right, these tanks, they seem to be floating a little bit. What is the weapon type? But what a huge force. So does seem to be a new villain. So it seems like we have some sort of corporate empire, some sort of evil dark empire look, right? With this industrial, we have this cult-like dark goo ritual people. We also seem to have your Jedi. So are these three factions we're going to interact with in the game? Am I making too much of it? I don't know. The fact that they use the symbols consistently in multiple locations does tell me that must be a design of some group that they are introducing in this series.
I'm gonna guess and say that there's gonna be a new enemy, and Eclipse is going to be in their name somewhere. Eclipse something. I think that's going to be the group, and I think it's going to be because of the Eclipse. They're naming themselves after the event, and that's what they're known for. That's throwing that out there.
This is where this shot, when we were watching the trailer, this one totally caught me off guard here. Like this one is what really threw me. I was like, wait, what the? Because it literally looks like, and in the you guys know I'm a huge prequels fan. In the prequels defense, this might look better than some of the graphics we got in the prequels of these ships. I mean, this could have been a scene in the movie. It would have been just as good.
Yeah. Aren't the ships prop designs? They aren't CG?
Yes, they are props.
They are. Okay.
Good point. Yeah. I mean, look, what's going on here?
Yeah, I was gonna say you got the same ships from before, but now that they're in space, it's more like a red glow to their engines instead of that purple from before. And this is why I don't think it takes place between the High Republic and the Old Republic, because the only canon, obviously you can't speak for Legends, but in canon right now, I think the earliest book we have aside from the High Republic is the audio drama Dooku Jedi Lost. And even then there's nothing about the Trade Federation. So why would they have Lucre Holt class carriers like that well before that time, when they didn't really start amassing that until around the prequel era? Now, again, this is new canon. They could do whatever they want. That's just my assumption.
Or we can also make an assumption that the Trade Federation or its precursor, because we see that Neimoidian kind of like, entrepreneur kind of creature, and not entrepreneur, a commerce kind of like guild creature. It almost speaks to what if this entity also dates far back in the past, and you can make a logical assumption that they've operated for centuries actually, and now they're coming to clash with this organization, and later are they going to cause trouble for the Republic as well?
That's another thing I was thinking too.
Yeah.
And I think go ahead.
No, you're go ahead complete.
Oh, I was gonna say the Lucre Holt class thing, even then, like if we go back to that and you look real close, it could still be very old, because
a first model of it. Yeah,
because if you look these rips that come out along the edges of it, well, not those, but like those are not on the ones that we see in the movies and in the games. So this is probably an earlier model of that.
Well, it's interesting the way they cut this whole section as timeline. You guys are talking. Notice that it kind of we get a shot of this, right? Which evil empire, we look at our Jedi, and then we flash to what I'm calling some sort of corporate. I'm just going to treat this like some sort of dark corporate empire, similar to the separatist techno union kind of vibe. It's what they're giving me, right?
Yeah.
They have this big. I mean, look at the first time we see their building. It has this real industrial, vibe. We know it's connected thanks to Sickman showing me they had the same logo. So it's like, okay, this looks very industrial, right? Then we have what looks like this faceless kind of corporation. And then what do we see? We see kind of the prequel examples of that with the Trade Federation. So maybe the Trade Federation wipes that other group out, and that's how they gained their power as a major player. Maybe this is some sort of war between, different groups. Maybe it's not good evil.
Or employs them. Maybe they buy their army out.
Kind of like in Game of Thrones is like the Golden Company, who you can literally pay. They didn't really put this in the movies, but it's a group for hire of like the most elite soldiers. So maybe you're right. Maybe that's just a mercenary group, and the Trade Federation's using them because there's no droids at this point in Star Wars. Yeah. Really interesting stuff here. I mean, we've spent like 50 minutes talking about this, and I feel like the possibilities here are just totally endless.
Yeah.
So as we keep going, again, this ship design is totally new to me. It does look Vector-esque, but not as narrow.
I like to get a better shot there where we can actually see from the side that. So yeah, this is very. This is probably our new Eclipse army of some sort, and I imagine they're probably at war with the Separatists, with the Trade Federation rather, trying to get control of the sector, because they're like, we want to be the next big thing.
Yeah, very fascinating. We go back to our drum. So what's fascinating about these shots to me is you go back to this real cultural and kind of religious looking ritual going on with shots of this space battle, and it's like
Mhm.
such a stark difference. And I see Please Stand By just said again, like Dune, like that's what it reminds me of, because Dune has those same kind of vibes to me, where you have real like cultural, emotional, kind of religious fantasy
Yeah.
mixed with really technologically advanced, shots like this. So you get this kind of, oh, this might be a different shot of these ships as well. Now that we're over here, they are super Vector-esque from this
Yeah.
angle.
Yeah, their wings are really low there.
Low,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
I almost see in my head when I saw these, like these are first generation vectors, and we have yet to see, they're going to eventually evolve into the more narrow, sleek ones we see in the High Republics. But this could be the opposite. It could be version 2 of the vectors that we saw in the book.
I mean, if anyone played the original Rogue Squadron game, I mean, it kind of looks like V-wings.
A little bit. Let's keep it rolling here. Again, I love the kind of back and forth. We have cannons that look pretty familiar to designs we've seen in the past. This is going to be kind of our up close. They're so narrow. The ship design here is so
It's very sleek.
narrow. Yeah, it is so small. I mean, it's like we get a small glimpse. And again, I don't want to over focus on the first, what could be concept art for ships here, but it's trying to hint what this era could be, right? My first thought was it's going to take between Old Republic and High Republic, be early High Republic. But I mean, it really could be. I mean, it could be 100 years after the books we've read. So if it's 200, if it's 250 years before Phantom Menace, our books could take place in the first 100 years, 150 years, and this could be the second 100 leading up to the war. I mean, probably no Plagueis is the main villain, and or not the main villain, but he's in the game, and he's there.
Right?
Who knows? Continuing. Again, love these shots. Look at the muscles in his back. This is probably overkill by me. But look at the muscles like rippling in his back. I just want to call this out. I should probably have quality. Speed this. I should probably have speed this here.
That would be helpful, yeah.
And let's look at, this is why I thought it was an actor, because little things like, that's pretty good.
This right here.
Also, this shot kind of reminds me of like the droid ships,
the vultures.
Yes, thank you. I was like, kind of reminds me of the vultures there a little bit.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead, complete. It sounds like you were going to say something here.
This coming up shot here, we get a better look at those like motherships that we saw from the Faceless Army there. We got a bunch of them here, and I'm like,
oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I like how they're all keeping the same kind of design format, and yeah, you can easily look at the Lucrehulk class ships and just see they are definitely a different early concept design because they just look so different.
I'm thinking more and more it's this new organization versus this Trade Federation precursor.
Absolutely.
Because this same color scheme, the black and yellow that we saw in there, it seems like there's some sort of socio-economic war here between two factions of some
Because what you see down below, those H shapes, they are much, much closer, right, in design to the droid delivery ships that were dropping them on that loop.
Yeah. That's the same ship too. Those are the drop ships.
Yeah. The technology.
Oh, look at that! Look at this.
Yeah, and then they have these. These are different. Like, what are these?
Little peewee looking.
They look like A-wing prototypes. Actually, I did a video recently. Right?
Yeah.
Take away the ring, and it almost looks like an A-wing.
So the ring even looks kind of like a hyperspace ring.
And then you cut with these drums that look like they almost have things growing out of them. Right? It's such just love the juxtaposition. Really cool. Going on, and we're getting close to the end here. And then we get our reveal of Voldemort.
I was just about to say
this is actually a Harry Potter game. No, but it's like, he kind of looks sad here. He kind of looks like, like I just beating that drum all day, man, and that's it.
So they're not Nihil. They're not Drangir.
No.
It feels like the first wave of the High Republic just gave us a taste of something that's on the surface, and neither the Nihil or the Drangir are supposed to be the main course, right? They're just like desserts, right at the beginning. And then what if this is the big thing, right? Before the Republic achieves its short peace, before Palpatine takes over, these were the guys who caused the main threat. Somebody in the chat said, could they be the Yuzong Vong, which a lot of fans like myself from the Legends are clamoring them to be? Because in terms of their physiognomy, like the facial structure where the nostrils are at, because Yu and Wang are known for mutilating themselves and having these intricate scarifications, and they detest anything technological. And in every time we see the shots of these guys, there's no technology around them whatsoever, right? And this is before they started scarring themselves, perhaps before their warlike times. Who knows?
That's a really good guess. I really like that. My other thought was, I know we talked about this last week. I'm not sure. Have either of you read the sequel, or not the sequel, but the new canon Thrawn trilogy? Thrawn Alliances, Thrawn Treason?
Not yet.
Neither? Okay.
No.
So there's a species that's explained in those books called the Grisks. And I was like, oh, what if that was these? Because again,
Sorry, we lost you.
Yeah, it keeps happening. I'm wondering if that could be the Grist, just because like we don't have an actual like description of what they look like. But again, I'm shooting from like the half court.
Yeah.
Well, let's wrap up the final shots here and go to the game's website here in a second. This is, I think, again, this race seems to be an important part of the game. We have our kind of Dune-esque reveal here. Out of the black goo.
Vladimir the High Republic.
Look at this. You got this seems to be a big part of the ritual, right? First of all, the glossiness is just really well done. All the reflections in there as the eclipse comes to a close. Fascinating trailer. I think fantastic trailer. I don't have much more to say about this. This is a great trailer. The game can be terrible. Everything can be bad. But this is a fantastic trailer. I love how they made the moon see.
I knew you were going to comment on the logo.
Yeah. Hey,
it's a good logo.
Design matters. Let's go ahead and switch the websites. I'm going to stop sharing this, pull us back, and we'll pull up the website here on the corner.
Just answer every question we have.
Yeah, it's like everything. They're like, they go scene by scene. We're like here wasting time. I'll go ahead and pull up the website, but I don't know, guys, anything else you wanted to say before we hopped over there? I mean, final thoughts on the trailer?
I need more.
I want them to take an opportunity and be the biggest leap in Quantic Dream games and go beyond what I expected to be like their general story-driven experience. I really want to create my character, jump in the ship, and go exploring planets. That's what I want.
We'll see. There's a number of Star Wars games apparently being worked on.
Yeah.
So this one they all can scratch different itches,
Yep.
So no release date from what I've been able to see. We have the game, the media, and then sign up for updates. Let's just look at the homepage here. This is a trailer. Okay. As you guys can probably tell, I think design matters. I think good UI matters. And this is a really well-designed website initially. I really love the kind of minimal feel to it. Looks very clean. 10 out of 10.
How the drum finishes that circle there.
Yep.
When was the last time we had a website for Star Wars anything?
That's a good point.
Right? Either a show or a video game. I don't believe even Jedi Fallen Order had a dedicated website.
Okay.
This is big.
So there's already a key detail I just from
I just saw it through and I was like,
so let's go ahead and read it. It says it's from award-winning independent studio Quantic Dreams and Lucasfilm Games. Comes Star Wars Eclipse, a new action-adventure, multiple-character branching narrative game set in the High Republic era. Now in early development. This game is still early. Subscribe for more info. Let me read this thing and then timeline. We're going to pass it to you because it says, see the galaxy through the eyes of an ensemble cast of multiple charismatic playable characters, each with their own morality, personality, motivations, and impact upon each other and the story at large. That sounds right in line with any one of their games. Sounds just like Detroit Become Human, just like Heavy Rain. So it sounds like we're going to be getting that same kind of look here. What are your guys' thoughts on that? By the way, I just had the dark filter on and the background's actually red. I'm going to turn it back on because it's blinding my eyes, but just info for you guys there. All right. First thoughts there, timeline. It seems to be it's going to follow the same formula that I don't know. Is that just
I'm okay with it. Look, I enjoyed their games. When I played Detroit, I'm usually I'm the Skyrim guy, right? I want to create my character and go exploring, and I want to tailor my experience. But when you come to Quantic Dreams, and the reason that Lucasfilm and EA hired them, right, is because they are staple take on video game industry. And when you play Detroit, The Lost City, it's not for, hey, let's go off that beaten path and explore. Let's go to the next dungeon or cave or fight an alien in a cantina. The whole point is we're going to give you this very visceral experience that you can see from different points of view of different narrative qualities about it. It's don't expect this game to be Assassin's Creed kind of like open world Ubisoft game. It's going to be something different.
With all new characters and environments, you have the power to make choices with consequences thanks to many outcomes in this deeply branching narrative. I'm a huge fan, like this is just me personally, I'm a huge fan of branching narrative games because I think the replayability, and here's the key, being able to play with like your non-gamer crew. Like, I think these are the kind of games that I've loved, like I talked about earlier, Until Dawn, where I get with my friends and we get a decision. And this is what I did with Detroit Become Human too. And we're like, oh, what should we do here? What should we do? Should we save the girl, or should we, like, I love those kind of, because they become more of a group game activity.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine doing a Let's Play live playing this game with your chat? Like, guys, now you're going to have to avoid spoilers because people will look ahead, but I love that kind of community gaming. And this to me is going to be super community gaming. You'll have that one character you really like. Do you play through and you just do all like the douchey things and you're like, my character's a jerk. And then you play through one time as the good guy and see the endings. I love that kind of replayability. Shape your fate in the Outer Rim, in an uncharted section of the galaxy with never before seen species and planets to discover. This part of the Outer Rim is rife with opportunity, and political tensions that could alter the fabric of peace. What will you do? So it's going to have those
points to me for mentioning the unknown regions.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, get out of here. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Grab free digital goodies. Okay, download the fan kit. Let's go ahead and do that over here. All right.
I want to see what this is.
Check out the gallery. Oh, this whole time I could have had like 80 pictures.
You played yourself.
Oh, wow.
Oh, interesting.
I got some new wallpapers.
Yeah, no joke.
Right.
100%. I'm going to be making some of these my wall. Load more. Oh, wow. They just took like, okay, this is 100% going to be my wallpaper.
Yeah.
100%. Nice. This is great.
Another positive with this game is that, how sometimes when Square Enix had made a grave mistake of announcing the Final Fantasy VII Remake too early in 2015, and then people had to wait 5 years to get it.
Yeah.
Because this is a different kind of level of production. It's not an open world game. Don't expect this to be in development for the next 25 years, right? This is going to probably come out. I would not be surprised if they announced a release date next Christmas or like next spring.
So guys, go to the website. You can download these for your background. This would be a fantastic wallpaper as well.
That's dope.
I mean,
Easy
this would be
thumbnails are just right there.
Oh, you're so right. I mean, this is a thumbnail right here. I'll put my face over it. Like,
nice.
No, this is absolutely okay. I'm not. Everyone knows I'm. This to me is one of the funnest parts of fandom, though. Of course, any of these things can be disappointing, whether it's a new movie, a new game, but the excitement, these moments with friends, with chat, talking to you guys, watching these trailers. This is some of the best time to be a fan. And yes, that can lead to disappointment in the long run. I do think that these sorts of community excitement and what can we find and look at these great pictures, and that to me is some of the best moments that we can have as a community. I love these kind of things. So obviously temper your expectations, know that it could be a total disaster, but also enjoy that we can do this. This is such a fun thing I think we get in fandom. Just my kind of personal thought.
Oh, look at the bottom. They have descriptions of the pictures.
A drummer with tree roots in front of him. So they are tree roots. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay, well now, geez, now I'm like, okay, well, wait a second here.
Let's find some specific ones.
A soldier leads an army.
Okay.
Thanks for the detail.
Okay.
Thanks
cool.
for the info.
Cool.
Appreciate it. Oh my goodness. So
then I wonder if
though.
that other one will tell us like if it's Jedi training or Jedi fighting.
A drummer faces the camera. He has a striking alien face. What kind of updates are these? I thought they'd be helpful. So, jokes aside, though, an official-looking Nemoidian. Yeah, I would say so.
That's pretty.
Two Jedi spar, like we talked about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So go online, guys. If you're excited, download these. You put them as your wallpaper. They'll be here seeking. Yep.
Aren't we shilling a little bit for Disney?
I am. Hey guys, look, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm super hyped about this. This thing has got me super pumped. This game looks like everything that I will say one thing. This is a total. Does this not look like the Eternals a little bit to you guys? The logo, Like I'm looking at.
Yeah, I can see
I
that.
literally like when I clicked on this and I saw this up in the corner, I was like, "Is that say Marvel's Eternals?" Like it looks just like it now that I'm staring
I
at
want to
it.
see how close it is to the actual Twilight Eclipse logo.
You know, in fact, okay, wait a second, everyone, hold up, wait a second here. This dude looks like he's from the Eternals.
No.
Wait a second. Okay, this might be a little bit of a stretch. I might have been a little bit of a stretch here.
My thought was the alien from Signs.
But kinda like that's the villain in Eternals.
Sure. I see what you're saying.
Like that's a little. I mean, like it's a little similar.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
And
one.
the logo. Anyway, okay. Sorry to get a sidetracked here. Just something that came to mind. I'm extremely excited about this, and I know we're an hour in, and people probably want to hear us talk about the Acolyte a little bit because there was news on that front. This is really cool to me. This is what a trailer should do. It should make us happy. It should excite us. It looks like they've got a totally different sort of tone and vibe. I'm hoping the game is mature. I'm hoping it's not, I'm hoping it's as gritty as a good story needs it to be. It doesn't need to be dark and brooding.
Man. With Quantic Dream, you bet. All of the stuff you're mentioning, they're experts at that.
Very exciting, guys. What a surprise. What a happy Thursday. I'm glad everyone took some time to jump on the stream with us.
This is just perfect.
We had no idea this was happening. We were going to stream anyway. Because there was a number of stories to talk about this week, and we're going to get into maybe our first piece of info here, which was another High Republic story about the Acolyte. And it seems we have our lead. Amandla? Is that how we pronounce Amandla?
Amandla
Stanberg.
I wonder if that's no, it's not a typo. Okay.
No, I was double checking here. Is apparently going to be our lead in the High Republic. I guess she played a role in the Hunger Games series. So the Direct and Star Wars News are pretty reliable sources, but I did want to note that Variety did also come out and say that she is in talks to be the lead role. Everyone's assuming that the Acolyte is going to be about a Sith apprentice. That seems to be what that title would indicate. And as some people have called out, the working title for the show is Paradox. So maybe it's someone who is an acolyte, but is starting to question their teaching or is battling kind of internally between the light and the dark side. So that might be what we see on the show. Let me ask you guys, are either of you familiar with this actress before this right now? Do you have any sort of thoughts? I don't know anything about her.
No, me neither.
Okay.
She seems young. She's not very experienced. I do have something I'll ask you guys both about this show and about her potential role. Is something connects with the Dooku, The Last Jedi, because that's the book I'm listening to right now.
Okay.
There might be a connection.
I think, again, where I stand today, knowing nothing.
I see what you're going for.
Yeah.
So she's 23, by the way. I just pulled this up. She's 23.
Okay, wow.
So she's younger. She is younger. You know, I have a strong feeling that Plagueis is going to be in this series.
A lot of people are saying that,
yeah. It only makes sense, right? I mean, how long until they give us a Plagueis canon outside of a picture in a book? I think it makes the most sense.
Sorry, timeline has just blown my mind right now with that one. Because I know exactly what you're going for.
We'll get into it.
Yeah. So exciting casting news. The show is moving. That's about the exciting thing for me. It looks like the show is progressing. But there was a little bit of rumor coming out this week, today, starting this evening. Some speculation, we'll call it. I'll come over and pull this out. Sent to us by Complete. The speculation was the High Republic video game is set for 2022. I would be stunned if that happens.
That would be shocking.
I would be stunned. So that right there kind of would be bad, because games just don't come out on time anymore unless they've been secretly behind the scenes for years working on it. Now, of course, a company could say we're aiming for 2022 and then we'll see you in 2025, right? So, we never know. But one of the ideas out there, one of the rumors out there was Claudia Gray, the big project she's been working on was actually going to be a prequel to the Acolyte series that'll bridge the gap between the Acolyte and the High Republic books we've read so far. And the Acolyte series will be coming out in 2023. That I do believe, because they're the reason they're casting right now is they're about to ramp up and begin the show. So 2023 for the Acolyte seems completely dead on. And yeah, Claudia Gray has been teasing a large project, and that could easily be it. Star Wars really has not been afraid to do tie-in through books and comics. They're doing it with their Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel. We'll talk about later, but So I wouldn't be surprised if they did try to tell that story. And, they're kind of doing it right now with the sequel trilogy. They're explaining a lot about the stuff on Exegol. Whether you like it or hate it, they're trying to do it. So maybe they're going to do the same thing with the book here. Thoughts? Do you guys want to see an Acolyte lead in? Do you want to read a book, or you just want the show to come out and be its own thing?
I wouldn't mind either way.
I always prefer books. I really like them because they fill in the blanks, and they always have that emotional component and nuance that you never get even with shows. To be honest with you, I have yet to see a Star Wars show. I mean, all of them are to some extent either good or great, right? But we haven't seen something to the effect of, I don't know, Westworld. Something that's so nuanced and so character-driven and mature. Star Wars has always, focused on the spectacle. When you want that sort of experience with Star Wars, you always go to novels. So I always prefer them.
And as Blue Milk Mama called out, she does have another book, not related Star Wars book, with info coming out next week. So that could be her big announcement as well.
Oh, nice.
So we shall see. But I did want to just go back to the first item here, as Variety has sold out their entire webpage to advertise No Time to Die here. Variety, who is very, I would say, a very legit source, does also confirm I believe it's Amandla. I don't, I apologize.
A Mandalorian.
We're
not dissing her. We're giving her credit. She joined the Star Wars family. We're very happy for her.
So they're currently targeting her for the lead role.
Yeah.
And it fits everything we know. For a long time, they've been saying that they were targeting a younger female to be the lead. And this is a 23-year-old female. So it strikes me as, okay, we've kind of checked that box, right? That's what we've gotten here. Worked apparently in the Hunger Games series. And let's see, reps for Stenberg and Lucasfilm did not immediately respond. So that also led me to believe it's real, because
nice.
when things like this leak, it's because some side wants it out. It's either negotiation tactics, like, hey, look at all the hype I'm getting because I was cast. Give me more money because people are excited, or someone's camp wants it out. Typically, is what it means.
Absolutely.
So, very exciting. I'm happy the show's moving forward after what we've kind of gone through recently with Rogue Squadron, Rangers of the High Republic. It's good that this show that I was really excited about is moving forward. So
I agree, because like when this was announced, this was my most anticipated show, and it still is.
Acolyte.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
interesting.
Ben had sent me an image earlier, kind of related to the Acolyte. You want me to pull that up on the screen?
Let's do it when we get to the possible tie-in. When we start talking about it, I want you to pull up an image when I get my turn.
Well, we kind of already talked a little bit about what kind of book we could get. So if we want to maybe pull this in over
Let's
here.
do it then. Okay, guys. So let me complete. Let me blow your mind a little bit.
Absolutely.
So I am now. I'm completely sold on audiobooks. I'm really enjoying them. When it's something like a radio drama, like Duke of Jedi Lost, I think it's phenomenal. I think it's probably going to turn up to be my favorite Star Wars audio anything. It's phenomenal.
Wonderful.
It is so good. So there is a mention of a lost Jedi who is a Trennis.
Yep.
Yoda mentions when they're in the Jedi Temple, and he brings the young Count Dooku and Sifo Dyas by his side, which blew my mind. They used to be friends, and he's talking about this lost Trennis. Here's a big question. Is it the Trennis that we know, or is it going to be a descendant of another Trennis played by this young actress? Or here's the mind-blowing part. In 2008, Dark Horse Comic Books was doing the counterpart to the popular video games Knights of the Old Republic, the video games. It ran for 50 issues. And in there, they had a very interesting character in the story arc called Star Wars Vector, right? This is 2008. And this Jedi, Celeste Morn, at one point in the story is put into cryogenic sleep. And she wakes up during the times of Darth Vader. She survives for thousands of years, for millennia. What if we get an earlier version of Kif Trennis, right? Because she already demonstrates certain aspects, certain characteristics about her personality where she could swing both ways. She's a very, very emotional young Jedi, right?
Yes.
What if we get her in some sort of paradoxical time loop vortex, cryogenic sleep sort of scenario where she ends up much closer to the time period of the prequels, and she is the fallen Jedi. She's one of the ones who will be responsible for ushering a new era of Sith.
So let's take a step back and enlighten the
Yeah.
audience. I assume most people here know who Keeve Trennis is. She
Mhm.
is one of the characters in the High Republic era. She's this is some of the artwork we've seen in her in the comics and in concept art. And in Dooku Jedi Lost, there is a reference to a Trennis who left the Jedi Order, basically. Long story short, right?
A
And so
master Trennis.
yeah.
Trennis,
So most people have speculated that it's Keeve who left, and this is the Master Trennis. They're both written by Cavan Scott. So it seems like he's kind of setting up, setting up his own story there. What Timeline is posturing is maybe it's a descendant of Keeve, right? Maybe this is a descendant, and that's who we see in the Acolyte.
Option 1, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's who we see in the Acolyte is a descendant, and that would be quite interesting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things because they mentioned there is a Master Trennis who became one of the Lost 20, and instantly we know Keeve Trennis from the High Republic.
Yes,
and it doesn't really even matter like at what point she leaves the Order. It could still be Keeve Trennis, and then Amandla could just be playing a completely new character. But based on even like her hairstyle, I'm like, you just got to shave half her head and she could be Keeve Trennis perfectly. I mean, it would be really cool to see her be a descendant of Trennis because, like, even though Jedi aren't supposed to really do that thing, we've seen plenty of examples of it.
Well, but if she left, right?
Tell it to Ki-Adi-Mundi with 6 wives, I think, and 7 children.
Yep.
He's a baller, man. He's he's in like Jedi teaching. See ya.
And this is a good call here. She has to stay long enough to become a master. And we could be looking at time jumps between phases. I do believe that's very possible. I do believe it's very possible.
And phase 2 hasn't even started yet. We still got phase 2 and phase 3 of the High Republic to go.
And this is why I tend to believe the game is set before where we are. I think that the window, because I'm assuming they're going to do time jumps between phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3. That's going to get us pretty close to the Acolyte. The Acolyte is going to help lead us into the prequel era. Now, in theory, this game, the Eclipse game, could be taking place around the same time as the Acolyte, just a different piece of the universe. So maybe I am because you're right. The Federation ships look so much like the prequel era.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. It's like we're seeing we got this trailer. We know nothing. It didn't give us really anything. Well, there's a lot of speculation, obviously, but this could easily be leading up to the Acolyte because the game is in early development. That gives them plenty of time to get up phase 2 and phase 3 and drop this game right after the end of phase 3 of the High Republic.
This is wild, guys.
Which would lead straight into the Acolyte, and mind is blown.
This is wild. It's absolutely wild. We live in a great time.
I tend to agree with you. I want it to be closer to prequel era. I want to see the part of Trade Federation which is more menacing because I never could wrap my mind around how a commerce guild could affect the galaxy in such a way that it gets like, are we going to impose embargo on this planet? I'm like, we need a little more. Where's the military component to them, right? And this could be it.
Plus, since this would be before the prequels, this would be like the if they have battle droids as an example, probably not. But if they did, it could easily be the same battle droids we got in the Phantom Menace, the more menacing sounding, controlled by a singular ship, not like in the episodes 2 and 3 where they had like a mind of their own.
Roger.
Yeah.
All right, good call out. That's a great call out timeline. With like, it would be cool to see the Federation as something frightening, not something kind of silly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for the Acolyte news. It's cool to me that we're getting casting. It's very exciting to me we're getting casting and that the show's moving forward because there was one thing I did want to call out briefly, and let's see if I have it queued up here. Yeah, so we've been talking about the Rogue Squadron movie, and how it looked like Patty Jenkins and it was put on infinite hiatus, and they said it was because of scheduling, and I kind of was like, yeah, whatever. We know it's going to get canceled. Interesting development this week. Patty Jenkins left Cleopatra, one of the movies she had said she was scheduling. And according to Deadline, who is a very legit source, she will instead produce the film so she can focus on Wonder Woman 3 and Rogue Squadron. So it sounds like she might have actually had scheduling issues that she is trying to work through and return to that movie. So I could have been way off base with all of my wild speculation. This seems to be exciting news because I know in talking to you guys, you were looking forward to this film. So maybe a good sign.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Which one, Cleopatra? Which movie are we excited about?
So the
So, well, here's the thing in it, because I said it last week. I was like, you can't really just take everything that comes out as true. It was like there was nothing that confirmed that she had actually left the project and that it was shelved. Yeah. And this right here just proves that. She stuck.
Guys, my inside source is telling me that next week, Kathleen Kennedy will sell the Star Wars back to George Lucas, and he's coming back to direct the next 3 trilogies.
I'm going to request that you stay off the internet, possibly forever.
I've been good, because there's been a lot of videos I could make about like, hey, remember everyone was telling you that Kathleen Kennedy was going to be fired. She's still here. And remember everyone said that she left Rogue Squadron because they weren't get along. Well, now she's literally quitting other movies to try to come back.
Blue Milk Mama just made the most perfect point in the chat too. real scheduling problems. Who knew?
Yeah.
This time they were telling the truth.
And I will be honest. I thought there, as a DC fan, and anyone who's a DC fan knows, like, how many movies they've announced that have never come out for DC fans? Okay.
Plenty.
I'm still waiting for Justice League Part 2, right? Because that was supposed to be a 2-parter when they announced it.
Still waiting for Superman Lives.
Yeah, exactly. So when I hear a movie put on hiatus, to me, that means like, all right, we're never seeing that movie, because that's what it's meant for all the DC movies I wanted, So I took that as like, so that was my first reaction, was like, oh, okay, we're never getting this. But if it is true, and again, Deadline is a very legit source, and she has left Cleopatra. So this to me indicates, she is serious about this and is trying to move forward. So, here we go. Very cool, very kind of cool, fun little story. And maybe we'll hear some more on that in the coming weeks in the new year. Very exciting. Yeah. So I want to wrap up the show, because we've been like an hour and a half here, and it's been wild fun, guys. Again, I appreciate everyone being here, but there's a couple more things I want to talk about before we wrap up. Before we switch back to the face cam, how cool is this?
It's awesome.
The Ronin.
So you can get the little Ronin with his little B5 5.6. How great is that? Target, pick it up. It's awesome. I really love this thing. Really
How much do these run for? I'm curious.
This one's like $25.
Oh, it's not bad.
It's not bad. No, it's not.
Yeah,
the thing about the Target ones, it's hard to get.
Yeah,
hard to get.
I don't have a Target around me anywhere, so that's a little rough.
But it's cute though. That's
I love Funko Pops.
Thing that matters. Well, guys, I wanted to talk a little bit. I don't really have a visual to share here, but I'll get us in the mood. Let me get us in the mood. Let's pretend that we're about to take a voyage on the Galactic Star Cruiser. Here we are in our room. Okay.
Thanks,
this
Disney,
is us in the Galactic Star Cruiser. What I wanted to talk about today, as a closing thought, is we had watched the reveal trailer for the Star Wars Hotel last week, and we had, I think, some pretty funny reactions. It was towards the end of the stream, and Timeline himself was not very pleased with the level of quality coming out of the trailer. And I think for me, when I watched that trailer, I felt like it missed the mark. I felt like it doesn't mean that the end product is bad. I just felt like whoever edited it didn't really know their target audience. And we talked about this. Was it aimed at parents? Was it aimed at like kid? Like, who is this aimed at?
Yeah.
And the kind of breaking news that followed the release of that trailer was they deleted it from YouTube. It's gone. That's why there's nothing for me to share, because it's gone. They got rid of it.
It's not gone. We've documented it. We have it on record.
It is on my channel. It is on my channel. You can go watch it. As someone who just was in Disney World in the last 3 months, and I rode the Rise of the Resistance, which was so well done, so well executed, and I really loved it. A lot of the practical effects they did in there. And if you haven't seen the ride, I went in totally blank. I literally did not watch a single bit of content on it because I wanted to go in fresh. So I don't want to spoil it for you guys. But they have some life-size Star Wars props in there and some real animatronic things. And I found it to be so well executed, that I was like, oh my gosh, a whole hotel that met this quality level would be incredible. And I still think that could be true. I'm going to wait and see what folks are seeing. But I think the ad was not good. And, it was deleted. And that, that happens. I think to Timeline's point, he made this point to me earlier that I almost wish Disney would have come out and been like, yeah, we missed the mark with that ad. Sorry about that. Like, we're going to cut together a cooler one for everyone. But they've kind of removed it and it's gone. So I don't know, guys. Any change of heart on the Star Wars Hotel ad? Let's start with you, Timeline. You had the strongest reaction to the reveal. What did you think?
Well, you know what? I said it from the beginning. There's nothing that I personally was looking forward to or had stakes for or would react to in a major way. It's not like the next, Star Wars Ubisoft open world game that I'm desperately trying to get my hands on, and now I'm disappointed. I'm like, okay, whatever. That's what they're announcing. That's what the deal is. Let's see what it's about. And for once, I don't like when people try to generalize and say, well, Disney era doesn't know what this franchise is about. They don't know who is it for. They don't know the target audience. For me, it all depends based from project to project, from book.
Yeah, agreed.
Each item I take at a stride. When this was announced and we all together saw the trailer, it was laughable because you don't understand your target audience. I 100% stand behind Theory's statement on this. The creators of this park, and here's the terrible thing. That trailer, if this is the best that you can come up with, you're communicating the goods, right? You're selling us the product. This is the hype. This is the thing. Who in their right mind would try to cater to Star Wars fans with a musical number? It's as maybe they have their hearts in the right place because Disney was always known about gathering families around television or movie screen and having musical performances. Right. All of Disney films have that. But when you have Star Wars and then you have Rose in episode 8, in the heat of combat, she says, saving what we love. It's not the fact that the line is problematic. The line is beautiful. The message behind it is beautiful, but it's misplaced. It's offbeat. It belongs in the hangar bay, when they go back to the fortress and, maybe Finn pulls her out and he saves the girl. And then she tells him, look, dummy, don't do this. We got to save what we love. Then it would make sense. Here, it's the same thing. You first shower your audience with some kind of promise of action or some actors, playing out some scene, maybe Darth Vader strolling through the piece and then, or kind of figure and somebody's attacking them and the audience is participating. And then at the end, you show we're going to have some music too. Makes perfect sense. You're having a little bit of Disney sprinkle on it, but you're mainly catering to Star Wars fans. It was a hugely missed out opportunity, and B, I think they took it down because they revealed their cards, because the park has nothing else to offer at the moment, and they're realizing this huge lashback from the fans. They're like, oh man, we're in trouble here. This could be something serious for them.
I tend to believe, as looking at the itinerary and haven't visited the park, that they will have those moments, and they're hesitant to show them. And I totally understand that because you want it to be, you want it to be great for folks the first time they see it. I think that maybe showing the rooms would have been a better idea because these rooms look awesome. I mean, I've seen these screens in action, the screens that they're going to use for these rooms. They look really cool. So show me the room. Like that would kind of hype me up because I would think of this as a Disney vacation where I'm going to stay in a really cool room. I know it's expensive and it's way priced heavily for that. But a lot of people just want that. They want to stay in a really nice fancy resort while they're at Disney World and they want to see space out their window. Like, if they just showed me that would probably hype me up more than any sort of musical number. I've been to the bars in Batuu, with the Arthurian and the robot mixing drinks. Like that's fun stuff, and it's a bar in the sense that it does have alcoholic beverages, but also, drinks for kids and sweets. I mean, it's just supposed to look like a cantina, on Tatooine. So I've seen it. I've literally been there and I know that part is going to be fun. You're just gonna have a good time doing that with your friends. So I think they should have just shown more of that. They tried to do this weird staged thing that just felt kind of unnatural to me. It felt very unnatural. That's the best way I could put it. So I don't know. Complete, over to you. You were maybe the lightest on it of all of us. You maybe were the most forgiving.
And I was the lightest on it because I still think that particular ad or trailer, whatever you want to call it, was still made to guide towards parents of young children to be like, oh, this would be fun. But even then, I sat there and thought about it. And even then, like Galaxy's Edge, Rise of the Resistance, building your own lightsaber. We've seen commercials and ads and trailers for this stuff, and it's phenomenal, and it still gets like the same attention as it's supposed to. So I'm wondering, like, just what went on that they wanted to make such a polar opposite ad for this than they have for the other theme parks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think, the most optimistic view I could take is they don't want to show their cards. The alternative theory could be that they have nothing to show. which would be kind of the
That's
darker.
the real problematic part, where that's all the park is. You chill in the hotel. There's a couple of performances, and that's the end of it.
We shall see. I don't think any of us now. Again, Disney, if you want me to do a review, let me know. The three of us could go. We should go. Guys, here we go. The three of us will go.
We will join hands and we will shill together.
We will go.
Little shill of reviews.
That's right. We will. Heck, I just want to go to the hotel. I don't care if people watch the video. I just want to go to the hotel. I would love to see what other people go and their experiences. And I would like to think that they will continue to improve and add to it. Because I think when Galaxy's Edge launched, there wasn't a lot to do there either. And then over time, now that they have Rise of Resistance is the best ride in all of the Disney parks. I went to all of them. It's the best thing they have. It's so good. I mean, I don't even say that as a Star Wars fan. I just think, like, especially as an adult, I just look at all the work that it would have taken and I'm like, this is like so cool. So, they didn't have that at launch is my point. They did not have that at launch. And so we might see something similar here where at launch, it's kind of testing the waters and maybe some cooler stuff to come. Well, guys,
I have a pitch.
Go ahead.
I have a pitch for Disney. I was thinking when you were describing your experience to me, how much fun you had, how much you felt in the world.
Yeah.
Plus a place like this hotel where you could stay. What if they created some sort of virtual experience where once you enter the park plus the hotel with the X amount of days, you never get out of this experience. You never see the light of day of the real world until you leave. And the way that you do that is the hotel itself and the park are covered by some kind of Truman Show, either bubble or something, which continuously from start to finish, right, until you say goodbye, keeps you in the experience. It's all acted. All the shopkeepers, all the people who service you are still in their roles. And all the stuff that you do there makes you participate and feel like, oh, today my kids are going to go and train with the lightsabers. Tomorrow, we could leave our kids in this kind of like simulated kind of like nursery where they could chill out, and we go and do our adult stuff and like watch a movie together, something like that. Keep it all in a way that people never lose scope of this fantasy.
I will say, first of all, I think Blue Book Mama made the hardest point for me to argue against, which is it's just very expensive. And I want to just let everyone know, I went to Disney World in September. It's expensive. I had a blast. I thought it was an awesome time. If you wanted to go with your family, friends, wives, girlfriends, husbands, whoever, I would say, yeah, go for it. Have a great time. You guys will, your kids, whoever, you're going to have a really fun time. But you're going to spend money, and it's going to be hard for some families to justify that. And so you want it to be as premium an experience as possible. And I have Stickman's comment pulled up here. It sounds like, they're going to be going, and experiencing Disney Galaxy's Edge. And I hope they love it, because I had a great time when I was there. I mean, that the trailer that didn't really work for me for the hotel could be great. Like it means nothing. I mean, just like the trailer we spent an hour talking about looked amazing, it could be a terrible game. It only means so much.
It could be.
So I don't want to rip I don't want to rip the hotel fully before I see what it has to offer, because again, I've seen what they're capable of, and there's some really impressive stuff. So if it, in the next couple of years, I'm sure they'll add more. I'm sure the price will start to go down, because you're kind of paying for the premium experience right now. You're gonna be one of the first. There's a cost to be first to market in anything, right? If you buy something first, you buy a new iPhone, it's going to be buggy, and you're going to be the one to test it out. Well, not iPhone so much anymore, but you get the idea, right? That's yeah. Well, is there anything else Star Wars tonight before we wrap up, guys? You had to talk about anything on your channels or any article we need to pull up? Let's start with timeline at the bottom. What's going on? Anything, any announcements, any things on the channel? What's going on?
Well, I just had a wonderful conversation today. I interviewed Roxana. She's a Costa Rican. She lives in Mexico, and she's a wonderful, wonderful artist. Like, I tweeted it. I put it on my Facebook group. I saw her painting, which she did of Ahsoka Tano, which she did as a commission from somebody here from within the States. And it just blew my mind. It was completely magnificent. It's actually making like rounds right now on Facebook groups and Star Wars. Awesome. So I got a chance to chat with her. She was completely lovely. We had so much fun. She was a little worried that her English skills may not be up to par, but she was wonderful. We had a great time. So I'm looking forward on dropping it for the Mondays a podcast. And speaking of, before I pass it over to Complete, hi, I need you back on your expertise of the prequel era so we can do our podcast thing. And Complete, we need to do a podcast as well. I would love to have you both guys. You know, it's always fun speaking to somebody who doesn't always necessarily share your point of view, and you learn from them.
Yeah, I would be more than happy to do that.
It'd be a great time. It would be fun. It's a different format as well. You know, it's to have a sit down conversation, you know, a serious conversation about Star Wars can be totally enlightening to so many different things you haven't thought about before. So definitely a good experience. All right, Complete, over to you. What's going on? What are you making videos about this week? What's exciting in Star Wars? Let me know.
Well, Eclipse was pretty exciting. I've got probably like 7 videos I can make out of everything that has come out today. I'm not going to strain myself too much. I know immediately the next 2 videos I'm going to be getting out. I'm finally getting out my full review of Ronin. I hope to finish that either tonight or tomorrow morning, and then have that come out sometime over the weekend. Finally, it took me a while to get through that, but I think it's going to be worth it in the end. I got about less than 100 pages left. But also, this is going to be coming out tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to say. I was able to go to a local comic book shop today. First time pretty much ever, and it was a great time. And I picked up the first issue of the new Crimson Reign comic. I think it's a 5 or an 8-part series by Charles Soule, talking about some Kira goodness. And I got that for my lovely girlfriend because she's a big fan of Kira. And when I told her this comic was coming out, she said she needed it. So I've got her a physical copy, getting myself a digital copy, have a review on that coming out tomorrow.
Nice.
That's who you marry, somebody who buys you Star Wars merchandise. That's the way to go, man.
That's how it goes, man.
Hey, I buy myself Star Wars merchandise. Let's get it on.
Hey, I got you. I'll get you something.
So, yeah, there you go. Well, it was fun, guys. I mean, to be honest, totally unexpected direction. You know, as people, the 3 of us who've all read The High Republic and all play video games, it was kind of an unexpected but sweet coincidence that trailer dropped tonight. So it was really fun talking through it, watching it with you guys, and letting us just kind of spitball. You know, before we wrap here up, you know, one of the things I really love about the live stream is it's really just the 3 of us hanging out with you guys. Yeah. I mean, it really is. We are just people who like Star Wars, and I just think I'm here with my friends talking about Star Wars, and I think that's so much fun to do. It's why I continue to try to do the weekly live stream once a week, anytime I can, because I just have a lot of fun doing it. It is a lot of fun. And it's just really cool to see other people and get some thoughts. So
no, it's great that you're doing it, that you kind of like bring us together. I kind of miss it the weeks that we don't do it. You know, it's such a great opportunity to show, like, if 3 people can sit in a room and not share necessarily the same beliefs, but like, yeah, I like this. I thought this was better. Oh, really? Why do you think that? And have like a normal, chill conversation. Yeah. So could others do the same. Like, and I hope more people emulate it. And we saw so much positivity here. People looking at this trailer, which is High Republic based. Oh my God! Would I live to see the day when people are praising the High Republic? Holy crap, that's awesome!
And I'm gonna tell you right now, we are going to see a huge spike in High Republic popularity. The new book's launching in January. The trailer just came out. People are going to have a total flip on this. I cannot wait to see tomorrow. I have resisted making Let the Hate Flow videos recently. I've just been like, you know what? I don't want to overdo those, but I got to be honest with you, tomorrow, if there are videos about Eclipse that are just ripping the like, I'm going to keep my eyes out, and I'm
looking forward to that video.
I'm hoping it's not the case. You know, I would love for a lot of people. Look, I want to make this clear as we wrap up here, and this just goes to Timeline's point. Don't have to agree with me on anything that I like when it comes to Star Wars. You really don't. You don't have to. You know, this group right here has vastly different feelings about the movies and the books and what we like, what we don't. I think it's just there's legitimate criticism, and then there's, you know, what's popular to dogpile on for the clicks. Yeah. And that's that I don't like as much, but to each their own. Guys, it's been a blast. That was a ton of fun. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did watching that trailer, and everyone who popped up. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. Hey, Book of Boba Fett is coming around. We didn't even get to talk about the show that comes out in like 2 weeks.
We'll have time.
There's a new teaser.
There's going to be so much. I know everyone here is gonna be watching that. I'd love to do some sort of stream around launch with you guys. Obviously prioritizing making your own videos first, but I'd love to pull you guys on if we could and do something live that week. So that'd be great. That'd be
awesome.
I'm on.
Well, guys, check out these guys' channel. They're linked down below. If you are just joining the stream now, we're about to sign off, but please go ahead and hop on and rewatch the beginning and react with us. It was a great time. So we'll see you guys again very soon. Have a great rest of your week. We'll be back next time. Thanks for stopping by.
Live long and prosper.
And prosper.
Long show. Thanks, guys.
Take care.